Demond Cross was a man defined by both dazzling wealth and an abiding sorrow. He owned sprawling mansions, sleek private jets, and a portfolio of lucrative enterprises worldwide. Yet his fortune did little to fill the void in his heart. For over a decade, a persistent ache gnawed at him: the loss of his beloved daughter, Lily. Every glittering possession and every lavish escapade only underscored the absence of the gentle laughter and warm presence that once lit up his life. His opulence, for all its grandeur, had become a constant reminder of a past marked by a painful, unhealed loss. On a sunlit family vacation in the countryside, Lily was 8 years old and brimming with life. She frolicked near a sparkling river, her laughter mingling with the chirping of birds and the gentle murmur of flowing water. Each day, she collected smooth, colorful stones along the water's edge, her small hands busy in joyful exploration. The idyllic scene was a picture of carefree innocence, a moment when the world seemed full of promise and every day was a new adventure. This blissful period, however, was destined to be shattered by an unforeseen tragedy. In a single, bewildering moment, the carefree echoes of childhood were silenced. 1 minute, Lily was chasing butterflies along the riverbank, and the next, she vanished without a trace. The sudden disappearance left a deep, unfillable chasm in Demond's heart. Shock and despair gripped him as the vibrant sounds of youth gave way to an oppressive stillness. That bright, joyful day turned into a lifelong nightmare, a haunting reminder that the one person who had once brought light to his world was now lost in the mists of an unsolvable mystery, leaving behind only painful questions. In the years that followed, Demond spared no expense or effort in his desperate search for Lily. Top-tier investigators scoured every lead, and thousands of missing person posters adorned every street corner. His resources, abundant as they were poured into unraveling the enigma of her disappearance. Each promising lead eventually turned cold, and every new clue only deepened the mystery. Despite employing the finest minds and leveraging his considerable influence, every investigation ended in heartbreaking dead ends. His wealth could not mend the broken promise of a happy reunion, leaving him with a legacy of loss and the bitter taste of unanswered questions. As time trudged onward, Demond found himself increasingly isolated within the cavernous halls of his opulent mansion. The once majestic corridors echoed with his solitary footsteps, each step a reminder of the vibrant laughter that had faded with Lily's absence. Every luxurious artifact and every expensive decoration seemed to mock him with their cold perfection. The mansion, once a symbol of his success, had transformed into a mausoleum of memories, a silent witness to a past overflowing with love and joy now replaced by loneliness. In the echoing silence, he longed for the simple comfort of familial warmth. One evening, burdened by the weight of sorrow and a desire for a change, Demond made an uncharacteristic decision. Rather than dining at one of his usual high-end establishments, he drove through quiet, lamplit streets to a modest restaurant he had often passed without a second glance. The decision was spontaneous, a small, almost humorous rebellion against his usual lifestyle of excess. As he navigated the familiar yet unremarkable route, he mused that even a man as wealthy as himself might find unexpected solace in simplicity. The change in scenery sparked a tentative glimmer of hope, as if the universe were offering a fresh start. Stepping inside the humble eatery, Demond was immediately enveloped by a warm, inviting ambience. Soft yellow lights bathed the room in a gentle glow, and the comforting aroma of freshly baked bread mingled with the murmur of quiet conversations. The decor was simple yet charming: wooden tables, mismatched chairs, and a few potted plants that lent an organic touch. In this unpretentious setting, the cold precision of his luxurious world felt worlds away. For a brief, shining moment, he allowed himself to be swept up by the simple pleasure of being in a place where genuine hospitality reigned over opulent formality. Not long after he settled at a modest table, a waitress approached with a smile that radiated warmth. Her reddish-brown hair was neatly tied back, and her kind eyes hinted at compassion and resilience. Yet, what truly captured Demond's attention was a delicate, curved scar tracing along her arm, a subtle mark that spoke of past hardships. In that brief instant, the scar stirred a long-dormant memory of his daughter's own small scar, a relic from a childhood mishap. The coincidence struck him with unexpected force, planting a seed of hope and curiosity that he could neither dismiss nor fully comprehend. The sight of the scar evoked vivid recollections of a long-ago day when Lily, barely 6, had tumbled off her bike. Despite the scrape and pain, her brave smile had reassured him, and he had tenderly tended to her wound with the promise that life would always leave a mark, a memento of the moments that shape us. Now, as he watched the waitress's arm, the mark was almost identical to the one etched on his memory of Lily. This uncanny resemblance felt like a bridge spanning the gap between a cherished past and a mysterious present, stirring emotions of both hope and lingering grief within him. Overwhelmed by a torrent of emotions, Damon's hands trembled as he clutched an old, well-worn photograph of Lily in her early years. The faded image was a portal to a time when her smile lit up even the darkest of days. In the quiet hum of the restaurant, his heart pounded with a mix of anticipation and anxiety. Every nerve in his body was alight with the possibility that fate had orchestrated this encounter for a reason. In that charged moment, he realized that this seemingly mundane meeting could hold the key to reopening the door to a past he had long mourned, a past that might yet reclaim its place in his life. Summoning every ounce of courage, Damon leaned forward and, with a voice tinged with both hope and trepidation, asked the waitress a simple question. "What is your name?" The query, unassuming yet laden with significance, cut through the quiet murmur of the restaurant. It was a moment of raw vulnerability, one where the burden of years of loss converged with the anticipation of a miraculous reunion. Every second stretched into an eternity as he awaited her reply, his heart whispering a silent prayer that this ordinary inquiry might be the first step toward rediscovering the daughter he had thought lost forever. The waitress's eyes met his, and with a gentle, almost wistful smile, she softly replied, "Lily." In that single, powerful word, the world as Damon knew it shifted on its axis. The familiar name, spoken in a tender tone, ignited a conflagration of emotion deep within him. Joy, disbelief, and a flicker of renewed hope intermingled with lingering sorrow. For a long, breathless moment, he sat in stunned silence, trying to reconcile the woman before him with the daughter whose absence had haunted him for years. The revelation was as bewildering as it was beautiful, challenging everything he thought he knew about loss and destiny. Still reeling from the stunning revelation, Damon pressed gently for more, his voice soft and earnest. With careful words, he inquired about her past and the winding path that had led her to the unassuming restaurant that evening. Each question was a tentative step toward bridging the chasm of years and pain that separated them. In this intimate exchange, the boundaries of time began to blur, and the fragments of a long-forgotten past tentatively merged with the present. His inquiries, imbued with both longing and cautious optimism, were not just for answers. They were a heartfelt plea for a second chance at a life that had been shattered too soon. In a measured, steady tone, the young woman began to unravel the tapestry of her early years. She spoke of a childhood spent shuffling between various foster homes, a life defined by transience and a lack of belonging. Her memories, though fragmented, were punctuated by one recurring image, being found near a gently flowing river, a place that offered a fleeting sense of safety. Her tale, imbued with quiet resilience, painted a portrait of a girl shaped by loss and uncertainty. Despite the hardships, her soft voice carried an undercurrent of hope, as if the very act of sharing her story was a step toward reclaiming a forgotten part of herself. As the waitress spoke, Damon reached into his pocket and retrieved a cherished, worn photograph of a little girl with an effervescent smile, Lily, as she once was. He placed the faded image before her, watching with bated breath as recognition slowly dawned in her eyes. Her delicate fingers trembled as they traced the contours of the photograph, reconnecting with a past that had long been shrouded in mystery. The silent exchange was heavy with meaning, a reunion of memories that had been scattered by time. In that fragile moment, both realized that the photograph was not just a relic, but a key to unlocking the secrets of their intertwined destinies. The image on the photograph sparked a cascade of memories in Lily's mind. She recalled sun-drenched afternoons in a vibrant garden, where the air was perfumed with the scent of blooming flowers and the gentle rustle of leaves provided a soothing backdrop. The memory was bittersweet, a mixture of the innocence of youth and the inexplicable sadness that had seeped into her earliest days. Amid these recollections, a darker, more haunting image emerged, a terrifying day by the river, when a sudden fall had led to a cascade of events that forever altered the course of her life. In the hazy recesses of her memory, Lily began to piece together the fragments of that fateful day by the river. She remembered the joyful abandon with which she had played near the water's edge, only to be abruptly jolted by a fall that sent her scrambling in distress. Amid her cries, a mysterious woman appeared, a stranger whose comforting words were laced with an eerie finality. The woman's declaration that her family would never return left an indelible mark on the young girl's psyche. This encounter, both tender and foreboding, became a shadow that would linger, coloring her childhood with a mix of love and haunting loss. In the days following that traumatic incident, Lily's life was swept into a tumultuous tide of change. The mysterious savior vanished as quickly as she had appeared, leaving the frightened child to be absorbed into the sprawling foster care system. Each new home offered temporary refuge, yet none could fill the void of her shattered past. The haunting words and the memory of the river remained, a puzzle with missing pieces that taunted her every step. As she grew older, the unanswered questions about her origins became both a burden and a quiet motivator, a persistent drive to reclaim the truth about who she really was. Just when Demond and Lily had begun to imagine that their fragile reunion might mend the deep wounds of loss, an unexpected discovery threatened to shatter their newfound hope. One evening, as Demond prepared to leave the modest restaurant, he discovered a mysterious note tucked discreetly in his car. The note, scrawled in hurried, almost frantic handwriting, warned them to cease probing into the past and to let certain secrets remain buried. Its chilling message, both stark and unnervingly precise, hinted at the existence of dark forces determined to keep the truth hidden, a threat that made the path ahead seem even more perilous. Yet, rather than cowering before the ominous warning, Demond and Lily found their determination only deepened. The cryptic note acted as a catalyst, stoking a fire of resolve within them to unearth every secret hidden in the shadows of the past. They began questioning the origins of the note, speculating on who might wish to silence the truth about Lily's disappearance. Instead of instilling fear, the threat galvanized their shared purpose. Every unanswered question now carried the weight of urgency, and together, they steeled themselves for the difficult journey ahead, a journey toward uncovering a past long obscured by mystery. In the quiet intimacy of that shared resolve, Demond looked deeply into Lily's eyes and made a solemn promise. "We have lost 10 long years, but we shall not lose any more time together." His words, tender yet resolute, resonated with the hope of a future unburdened by the past's relentless sorrow. Lily's gentle squeeze of his hand affirmed her silent agreement, her eyes shining with a mix of relief and cautious optimism. In that moment, the painful chasm of years and separation began to mend, replaced by the promise of a new beginning built on trust, understanding, and the unyielding strength of love. As twilight deepened into night, Demond and Lily returned to the grand mansion that had once felt like a prison of memories. Tonight, however, the opulent halls echoed with the warmth of reunion and the soft promise of a shared future. The mansion's cold grandeur was transformed by the light of their newfound bond, and every echo in the empty corridors now whispered of hope rather than loss. Though mysteries still lingered in the shadows of their past, both knew that together they possessed the courage to face the unknown. With hearts resolute and spirits rekindled, they stepped forward into a future where every truth, however hidden, would be embraced.